how should a woman communicate her sexual dissatisfaction to her man in a constructive way where it does not bruise his ego and they can actually start moving forward in the direction to get some help? What's the script on that?
Yeah, I don't know if there's a particular script because everybody is different.
Okay.
You see what I'm saying? So you have to, like, you got to look at your mate and figure out how your mate works, which means you got to know your mate. But what I will tell you is everything starts with compassion when there's going to be potential constructive criticism or concerns being addressed.
Okay.
It has to start with compassion. And what I always tell women, and I'll both tell men too, and it sounds crazy, but like, imagine, like, for a woman, imagine if you're trying to explain something to your son, how would you explain it to him? What level of compassion would you use if it was being explained to your son? Same thing with men. If you want to communicate something to your lady, explain it with the same delicacy and the same compassion that you would explain it with your daughter. And I think that
what is she explaining though?
Well, what she's explaining is her concern. Like, we're not being intimate because women have sex to be intimate. That's intimacy for them. You know, a large portion of us is the physical pleasure that comes out of it.
Right.
Okay.
The release.
You see what I'm saying? And not just the release, but like, you know, for a lot of fellas, like, you get a lot of pleasure out of pleasing too. You know, like, a portion of that feeds the ego, another portion of that feeds you saying, you know, I gave to my lady.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? So it's also a little bit deeper than that. But I think that's sort of like the prescription I give people, is taught from a place of compassion and seeking to understand.
So the thing is, like, when I talk to the ladies, because I do agree it gets to the point where it is not having sex. But when I speak to the ladies, they talk about the kissing, the hugging, all of that stuff. Touching. Not just the sex. It's like it goes from not having sex to just not touching, kissing at all.
Yeah.
Why do you think those things are also associated with it? Because does the guy know that a little kissing, a little touching here might set something off, or is he just so discouraged he doesn't want to do anything?
I think a portion of it is a misunderstanding of and understanding that the importance of intimacy for a woman, and intimacy isn't just penetration. So a lot of men don't understand that. They don't understand what intimacy is. And then the second portion is men are afraid that if they know that they can't perform when it comes time to, they know that the intimacy is eventually going to lead to them having to perform. And so if you haven't had those conversations and you haven't gained understanding in that area, then you're going to shy away from it all in all. And ultimately what's going to happen is not only are you going to shy away from it, but if she or he keeps asking for it and she or he isn't able to perform.
Most people have no idea how to plan a date that builds connection. With 100 engaging dating cards, skip the small talk and get straight to the real conversation. Let's take the dating game to the next level. Click the link in the description and use discount code CLIPS for 10% off.
Eventually it's going to turn into frustration, and frustration turns into arguing, and arguing turns into people being upset.
Yeah. It's crazy because, a lot of women get, just women as a gender now get a bad rap for not being loyal. But I spoke to many women that they're in these marriages like 3 years, 5 years, 10 years, 15 years, and are still loyal, not stepping out, and still maintaining this relationship with their spouses.
Bro, I got a friend of mine. She was literally with her husband, and she was telling me they were not intimate for over a year and a half.
Yeah,
that's a long time.
And she threatened him and said, look, if you don't have sex with me by the end of this year, I'm leaving. And gave him 3 more months, and he still didn't touch her. He did not want to end the marriage. He just got to a point where he could not perform anymore. Now, a portion of it that I was explaining to her was how she spoke to him out of frustration.
Right. She gave him an
ultimatum.
Oh, complete emasculation.
And so when I explained that to her, I was like, you've been with this person for so long, and both of you have been aggressive, and you turn your aggression off because you like, wait, like, if you ain't showing up, I ain't showing up.
Exactly.
And then when he didn't show up, you voiced your frustration, but it emasculated him. And once he became emasculated, like it's important for women to know a lot of a man's erection is his confidence.
Look in the camera right there and let him know.
A lot of his erection is his confidence. So when his confidence goes out the window, the unfortunate thing is that his ability to perform will greatly diminish as well too.
Oh,
and so
man.
that's what happened. Now I don't necessarily blame her. I blame both of them.
Yeah.
Because there has to be understanding on both parts.
Yeah.
Because as a man, and this is just my personal opinion, not my professional opinion, but my personal opinion is that there are areas that we got to lead.
Right.
And you need to set the standard for where you're going to lead in those areas. Okay. Before the relationship starts. Now, you can either express those implied or you can express those through action. Okay. So you can either talk about it or you can actually do it. Now, if you set the table where you're the aggressor when it comes to sex, meaning like you initiate, okay? And then the tables turn where you're not initiating because you like, well, I want you to initiate, and you just turn it off without talking, that's your fault. You see what I'm saying? So that's sort of what I always tell people is all about communication. And I think the vast majority of relationships are ending because of unexpressed expectations.
Wow.
People aren't expressing what their expectations are.
Yeah.
And when people get frustrated, they don't know how to communicate that. And especially when it comes to sex, because even though everybody's having it, it's still a taboo conversation.
Yeah.
Like, like maybe you like something weird.
Yeah.
Maybe you like something spiritual, like, baby, before we have sex, I want to pray over you. But then I want you to pray over me too. Like, whatever it may be, works for you. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah,
but, like most of the time, that's why it's not working. People aren't talking.
Well, see, so these relationships, not all of them are ending. Some of them are staying, and it's the men that's still in these, relationships. And I'm just curious to know your thoughts on this one, because if a man is having erectile dysfunction, he knows it, the wife knows it, so forth, and he is still continuing to stay in the relationship, isn't it safe to assume that it's probably a bunch of other things not going well in that relationship? Because I just can't understand how, if sex is so important to men,
yeah,
I can't imagine a guy only failing in this sole area of sex and everything else is going good.
Well, you got to understand that in most cases, this is a health issue. And if you have one problem with health, it means you're going to have many problems with health. Erectile function isn't just by itself. Most people are going to have hypertension. Most people are going to have high cholesterol. Most of them are going to be overweight. Most of them are going to have low testosterone. So erectile dysfunction is just a symptom. It's not the cause. So you're going to see many symptoms. So of course, that's going to leak out into the relationship in all facets.
I like that angle better than your dick not working.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
You are not healthy. It's much better than your penis is struggling.
But see, I think the biggest thing though that you stated that I think can't be understated was how talk about different areas gets affected. If a man is not sexually performing well, his confidence as a man is hit. So like your confidence is what you use and carry in all different areas of your life.
Yeah.
And if you're not feeling strong like a man, your handshake probably ain't as firm. You probably not negotiating as well as you should be. You probably not as aggressive in life as you probably should be, really living on your edge. So I can see how how a biological issue can even become psychological very fast.
Yeah, because even like low testosterone leads to reduced motivation. Okay, assertiveness goes down. So our hormones aren't just about sex; they're also about who we are as people too.
Yeah.
So it changes who we are. If your testosterone goes up, it's going to make you more aggressive. It's going to make you have more muscle, which is going to make you more confident. You see what I'm saying?
Man,
it goes down. It does just the opposite.
I got a vulnerable story, man, because this actually really is taking me back. I remember in high school, man, Dr. Bobby, I had a girl. I had got a girl for my first serious girlfriend.
Okay.
Right in my junior year. And it was about a week before my birthday. And, we've been kind of talking crazy. I was a virgin at this time. And we was kind of talking crazy, talking about all the stuff we was gonna do. So I knew it was going down. She was like, on your birthday, Ty, you're gonna get some.
You better be ready.
So it was kind of crazy because like you know, sometimes a lot of dudes they kind of just fall into it. But see, mine already knew it was happening. So it was like a pregame before it went down. Like even my shower, I was like, you know, I felt like it was going down. And listen, triple athlete. I played basketball, football, track. In my mind, like I was probably more nervous for this moment than any game I've ever prepped for.
For sure.
So she finally comes over, it's going down. Way more nervous than usual. It's kind of crazy. And I'm usually cool, confident. I'm nervous as hell.
Yeah.
Man, let me tell you, Dr. Bobby, this chick lays down and I'm talking about I would not get up. First time ever having sex.
Yeah.
And I'm in my mind like, and all I could think about was the fact that all I could think about, now I'm not even thinking about her. I'm just like, bro, you're blowing it right now. In my mind, I'm like, bro, you're blowing it. And she's like, baby, come on.
Yeah.
Baby, come on.
Yeah.
Let me tell you, after that night, because I felt like a shame. First time ever going at it. First time. I'm like, I can't have kids. I'm done. Matter of fact, I gotta practice with a slut. I'm having all of these demonic thoughts running through my mind.
Yeah.
It flooded my mind so much that literally I'm like, yo, we gotta try this again tomorrow.
Yeah.
I skipped practice in the morning.
Yeah.
Went straight to her house as soon as her parents left. Skipped it. Went straight to her house as soon as her parents left. And I don't know. I just kind of felt very different. I just felt a lot more relaxed. My mind wasn't flooded. And boy, I knocked it down like I was doing it my whole life. And I'm talking about the way I walked back into school, knowing that my manhood was intact and that my body worked how it should and has always been prior. I was like, whoa. Felt so much, but see, then I was like 17 years old.
Yeah.
It was all psychological.
Yeah, and let me give you a gem and all the fellas a gem to kind of why that happens that way. Because you were so much in your mind and you weren't in your body.
I wasn't.
Okay, and then when you're in your body, that's when you can perform physically.